Hang on.
The longest title in history. Hello and welcome to the final episode of So You Want to Get Into Politics, Adventures of a Would-Be Councillor. There's no intro today. We're just going to get straight into it and talk to Craig. So Craig, hello. How are you?
Morning, Rachel. No, I'm fantastic. I'm still a little bit tired, still sort of catching up with everything. But no, good. I'm very good, thank you.
So today we're going to be playing back the recording of those 2 days when polling station was open and the count day, aren't we? And so that's what's going to be the final bit of this series. And so you talk a lot in those episodes in those recordings about how that has all been for you.
Yeah.
So we don't need to say too much about that now.
No.
But
Well, the only thing I would say from the recordings is even though we obviously introduce where we are in the kind of 2-day event, you can probably tell by the way I'm talking that near the end of
yeah,
the 2 days, I'm absolutely shot to bits. And probably slightly incoherent and not making a huge amount of sense. So it's either going to be very fascinating listening to our one listener, or it's going to just be an absolute gabble of rubbish and not make any sense whatsoever. So,
I think it might
could
be
go one of two ways.
an interesting gabble of rubbish. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
But I
And I'll
think
take it.
we definitely went from buzzy to oh God,
Yeah. It
definitely
was,
tired by the end of it because I was with you nearly every step of the way.
yeah, nearly. Yeah, pretty much. The important bits. It
Well,
was,
yeah, not at the very end when you got your announcement, but yeah,
yeah.
basically,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you had more, more,
I had a
more
life.
fun things to be. Yeah. Yeah. The
Yeah, I had a
life. No,
life.
no, it was.
Um,
I was just going to say it was really. No, I really enjoyed actually. I mean, the whole series of the podcast that we decided to start this for the field months and months ago was it was a slightly light-hearted way of just documenting this kind of journey. Because I think one of the things I've noticed and found talking to people after the election is how many people are kind of surprised I'm going to carry on doing the work that I do within the community, like driving the bus and litter picks and community fridging and things. I think people are genuinely genuinely, it's kind of like, oh, so you're carrying on doing that stuff. I'm like, yes. You're like, I don't know whether my whole journey was the complete opposite to the norm or what. I don't. I've been surprised by it, but there hasn't been an elaborate plan for the last 4 years of doing all this stuff because of the election. It's the complete opposite.
yeah,
The elect, standing as a councillor was something that I decided, kind of, late on in that 5-year journey of being on the town council. So no, and I think it's really important to carry on that stuff. So yeah, I'll still be doing the litter picks and driving the bus and doing the community fridge and the larder and all that other stuff. So in a lot of ways, I guess publicly things won't change too much. So for
yeah. I
those,
think there's been a bit of cynicism, isn't there? People have been cynical
yeah,
about the fact that you've been doing that. I mean, they're not in the main. There's just a couple of people have just thought, oh, that community stuff has been a vehicle to getting you into being a ward councillor. And as you say, it's the complete opposite. It's sort of the obvious next step because you've been
yes,
doing all the stuff.
yeah,
And
absolutely,
that's been
yeah.
interesting, I guess, for you to be having those conversations over the last 10 days since the announcement.
Yeah, yeah. So, the whole purpose of this podcast was to kind of document that whole journey up until these recordings. So,
Yeah.
and have a little bit of fun on the way, and hopefully, kind of inform and educate people in a light-hearted way what I'm about. So it just seemed like a no-brainer, really, to just grab a few snippets during the course of polling day, and then the count, and obviously you know, everybody knows the result now. Might have been a different podcast had I not have won, but it was a really close run.
It was really close.
We've said this lots of times across the months that, Paul, the main candidate on the ballot other than me was obviously Paul Fitzpatrick, the Liberal Democrat candidate. And we've said loads of times that, Paul's a great guy. We both know Paul well. We work with Paul for the community fridge, and in a really weird way, even though we were both very busy in our kind of own camps, so to speak, we actually really enjoyed the 2 days together,
Mm.
from first thing in the morning to last thing at night on the polling station, sort of sharing our experience of the day and having a bit of a laugh. And at the count as well. I think at one point at the count it was just me, you, and Paul, really, wasn't it? Just sort of
Yeah.
stood there, and sharing a bit of a laugh, and the whole kind of roller coaster of how close the vote was, and um,
Yeah, he was quite worried at one point that he might win.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Um, but no, it was actually really nice to kind of at the very end, once the kind of both our campaigns were done, just that share a laugh with it and sort of enjoy the last few hours of the process. So it was great, and me and Paul have already spoken about meeting and sharing notes, um, working together on some other community stuff. So Paul's certainly not going to be disappearing. He's still as active as ever with the Pride Bridge and Community Fridge. So it was nice to sort of see it to the end with him as well. So,
And
but
he
yeah,
was extremely gracious, wasn't he? I mean, that's the thing. He's
yeah,
been very very kind what he says on. He did a nice statement on socials, and
yeah,
yeah, he's been really really gracious. So it's yeah, so this is it, and we're hoping that we're just in discussions now, aren't we, as to whether how the next, whether we're going to do more series, another series
yeah,
of podcasts. It's just how that is going to look, what that's going to look like. And I think the
yeah,
reason why it's not clear cut is because the work you're doing is going to be more um there's going to be time between each meetings and that kind of stuff, wasn't it?
yeah. I think for me, and actually, I suppose maybe this is a question that we can put to the listeners if they're still listening, sort of 10 minutes into this podcast, is, what would you, if we were to continue with a second series of the podcast, we might need to slightly change the name because it wouldn't really make much sense. But if we were
Maybe
to,
shorten it.
yeah, shorten it as well, yeah. But no, if we were to continue, what would you like to see from this or hear from this? Because I don't want it to, as this first series has been, it's not, for me, it's not kind of a party political broadcast in any stretch. I'm now the ward councillor for Bedminster Ward, and I'm, touch wood, I'm going to be here for 5 years. So um, I think it's a really nice, again, sort of following on from that kind of slightly light-hearted, entertaining way of communicating with yeah, the town and the villages in terms of what's happening on a day by day, in terms of what I'm up to and what's happening at Dorset, and just another kind of communication method. But we want it to be a bit fun as well, otherwise it's going to be
Mm.
quite boring, right? So I know we talked about maybe seeing if other individuals from uh different parties within Dorset would like to jump on and chat with us. Maybe even Paul joins us for an episode, and just try and make it a bit more kind of interactive is the wrong word, but I don't know what you
Inclusive and
inclusive. Yeah,
yeah, and also being sort of very community focused as opposed to it
yes,
being politically focused. So
yeah,
but linked back to things that are happening in the towns and the villages that you are, you might have insight that you can share, and whether it's
yeah,
about new planning developments or anything like that, that you're able,
yeah.
that is in the public domain, but might be in a newspaper or something that not everyone will
Yeah,
read.
people
Or
will miss. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So that's kind of where we're going with it. That's where our thoughts are. But as you say, our one listener, Hillary, if you want to give us some ideas
tell us
of
what
what,
you think.
if you want anything, and then we can start to plan something. But
Yeah,
so
we'll have a
we're
we'll have a,
gonna,
we'll have a bit of a break though.
yeah, we'll have a bit of a
We'll have a bit of
break
a
and then
break.
come back with a bang.
Yeah.
And people have been begging for us to return.
Well,
Um,
I was just gonna say, Rich, one other thing just before you we wrap this up for the last time for a while is one of the pieces of information I'm going to be circulating over the next week or two is my plan in terms of how I want to continue communicating with residents. So I'm going to be launching the Bedminster Community Forum, which will be either every other month or maybe once a quarter. I'm not too sure yet, but a community meeting with a very basic agenda. I will probably find venues around the ward, but it'll just give residents an opportunity to come and meet with me, have a quick 5 minute overview of what I've been up to, and then kind of have an open floor for lots of questions and interaction with me in terms of local priorities and issues to get over. So I'm really looking forward to doing that, because I think that'll be a really good platform for people to communicate, as well as attending the town and parish council meetings. And I'm thinking I may sort of kill two birds with one stone with those meetings, and actually have councillor ward surgeries before the town and parish meeting. So again, residents can meet with me on a one-to-one, as well as newsletters, writing in local magazines, and all the other sort of stuff I've been doing on social media. So I'm going to carry on all those things, and hopefully have a couple new platforms for people to kind of engage. So maybe through some of those surgeries and community forums that'll be, I was going to say, we'll be setting up. People probably desperate to stop doing all this stuff, but yeah, hopefully we'll get some input from those too in terms of what this might look like going forward.
No, well, I'm definitely not desperate to get out of doing this. I've really enjoyed it. The point of it was because I know nothing about any of it, and with you being my friend, it sort of sparked an interest. And so it is a way of me. I prefer to find out my news and media through podcasts. That's my preferred choice. Of course, I'm leaning towards wanting to do more of these, because I believe there is an audience out there.
Mm.
And I think maybe exactly what you're describing can all be brought back to here as in this form of media, to be able to share out to others who can't make it to the forums, or are a bit nervous about going to forums because they don't know what it means. Because I think forums a bit of a scary word. But I think it would be great, and you're certainly going to be visible.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Now I've got my
great.
big fancy name badge.
Yeah.
and a
Yeah,
picture with me wearing a blazer and a tie.
I know. Well, I mean,
I've already changed.
again, this is that you've peaked with that, though, aren't you? I mean, there's unlikely to, unless there's any sort of major civic duty you have to do. That's it now.
Yeah,
You're
absolutely.
in.
Hopefully they'll sit me at the back where I can still go to meetings with my shorts and flip-flops.
Yeah. Yes,
Anyway,
definitely. Okay. Well, it's been great, and congratulations on getting the position. You've worked so hard for it, and I think that it's amazing that Bedminster and Moster Turner, South Perrott are in good hands with you. So congratulations, and we look forward to following the rest of what's going to be happening.
thank you very much. And we just want to mention Chennington as well. You don't want to miss that Chennington.
No, don't. Yeah, okay.
I know you were just about to say that. No, I'm joking.
No, I wasn't. But yeah, brilliant.
No, and thank you to anybody that listens that did vote for me. Thank you, and anybody that listens that didn't vote for me, equally, thank you for voting. And hopefully, in the next few years, you will be persuaded that you're still in safe hands with me. So we will end this podcast with a fantastically professionally edited piece of audio from Rachel that starts first thing in the morning at the polling station and will end at the count. So this is the final part of the podcast in this series. So over to me and you.
Yeah. Enjoy.
Bye for now.
We're rolling. Camera.
We're rolling.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's good. I figured that out. God, we haven't got polished yet. It's like episode 13. Yes. Well, there we are.
Hi, Craig.
Morning, Rach.
Today's the day.
Yep. I worked with all that. Everything's been done now. So very long and busy day today, but nothing that's not kind of in my own control. So I'm just going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, in America, when I used to work at the American Embassy when I was in the police, voting day was like a carnival. So I'm going to treat it like we're in a carnival on voting day. So
Right. Good. Well, there we go. Okay.
Just with the rain.
I'm going to tell everyone what my surprise was for you today.
Yeah. So
You loved it.
So luckily this is you're not going to see this on the video, or podcast is obviously just audio, but Rachel's donning a white t-shirt with my massive face on it. So basically she's going to scare people to the polling station today by running around Bedminster and the villages, getting people out to vote.
Yeah, I am. That's exactly what I'm going to do.
Perfect.
Yeah, good. Well, we'll check in with you later.
Yeah, so we're gonna be documenting the day as we go on. So it's 7 o'clock in the morning now.
Yeah.
We'll do another quick recording in a couple of hours and see how I feel then. What's the time? 3 o'clock. So we've had the morning. Yeah, it's been good. I'm feeling pretty positive. Yeah, fingers crossed, everything's great. But yeah, lots of sort of smiley people giving me winks and thumbs up as they're leaving. So that's pretty good. It's a little bit of a quiet time now. So I've tagged you along, Rach, haven't I?
Yeah. And you know, this is sort of the circus bit, isn't it? So
Yeah.
I've been telling, which I never knew. Is that the way you would describe it?
Yeah.
I am a teller.
You are a teller, so you've been
So I've done that.
keeping a record of people that's voted, so we don't hopefully bother them when we go knocking doors, which is what we're going to do now.
Yeah, and now you've dragged me out to do door knocking, which I was really not keen on.
Yeah.
But you know, needs must, just to get you over that final line.
Yeah, and we've been
finish line,
and we've been joined by a few people that have come to help us as well, so not just us.
Yeah, and lovely Brian's been amazing in the Red Lion, hasn't he, while we've been in there.
Yeah, big thanks to Brian for looking after us. And it's Brian's birthday, which by the time everyone listens to this will be a few days after his birthday, but belated happy birthday to Brian.
Yes. Anyway, but over to you. We are 3 o'clock, as you say, with what's that, 7 hours away from when?
Yeah, and 7 hours away until everything is done and dusted. So we're going to go spend a couple of hours just reminding people to vote, in case they need a reminding. And then there'll be the kind of tea time rush again. And yeah, we'll be at the end of the day.
Yeah. So, the final hour, Craig.
Final hours, no one else here, just me.
Yeah.
The guys running
Well, and the polling station people.
And the polling station people, yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, I think I said when we recorded the first episode that I wanted to sort of see it all the way through, so I'm gonna do that, stay to the bitter end, and then it's been I've really enjoyed today. It's been fun. So,
what have you enjoyed most about it then? That.
Morning.
Morning.
Evening. It's been a long day. The teamwork. It's been fun. I think we were talking about this when we had a bit of dinner. It's been nice sort of seeing people sort of mucking in and helping and coming from other wards to give me a hand on the telling, and yeah, it's just been really nice sort of seeing everyone sort of coming together and supporting me really. So yeah, it's been good.
Okay. And so what's been the worst thing about today?
The walking, I reckon.
Is it?
Are
you not used to it?
No, I genuinely don't think I've had a real negative experience.
Well, what do you think's been the worst thing for the polling station people?
Oh, probably having no gas, so there's no central heating, which is fun, and then a water leak in the building. So we've at one point they were running the risk of closing the centre, but they've had no water to make tea, no heating, but I've managed to juggle all that sort of stuff as well as campaigning. So it's been we started off with flood warnings. We ended up with a water leak. But it's been good. I've really enjoyed the day. It's been fun. So
you thrive on that though, don't you?
Yeah, well, it's just, you've got to chuck these curveballs in and keeps you on your toes, doesn't it? So yeah, that's been good. And I've really enjoyed the whole day. It's been whatever the result, it's been a really positive experience. I've really enjoyed it. So hour left, and then we'll do it all again tomorrow at the count. Yeah,
so we'll try and get some more tomorrow, won't we?
Yeah.
And then I'm actually leaving you to it now. I'm also knackered. Yeah, I'm leaving you on your own. So, I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Okay, bye. Right, today's the day, but people might not be able to hear us because we're on the side of the road waiting to go in to have the count. So, good morning.
Morning, Rach.
How you feeling?
Very tired. I thought after the polling yesterday, it'd all be, feeling like I can go back to normal, but I hardly slept last night. But I think it's just because of the adrenaline. So, had breakfast of champions this morning, McDonald's breakfast on the way here.
Got to be done.
So we're going to walk up now and sort of be told what to do, because obviously we don't know, because this is the journey of somebody who wants to do these sorts of things. And start the count, and hopefully by lunchtime we'll have an idea how it's gone.
And we're in Weymouth. That's where it all happens.
Yeah, we're in Weymouth.
The political capital of Dorset.
We might go and get an ice cream afterwards.
Anyway, we'll check in later, yeah?
Thank you, Initiative. So that is the water line. Of course, will be returning on for the election to hereby give notice for the number of votes recorded for each candidate in said election is as follows. Julie Margaret Cook, Labour Party, 70. Paul David Fitzpatrick, the Democrat, 579. Richard Thomas Gilling, 17. Yvonne Harris, Reform UK, 69. Andrew James McEwen, Green Party, 65. Craig John Monks, Local Conservative, 601. The number of ballot papers the electorate 3474, the ballot papers issued is 1401, turnout 40.33%. I do hereby declare that Craig John Monks is duly elected.